Welcome, dear friends. Here on our channel, you'll find the best summaries of K-dramas and C-dramas. Enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. Today, the story begins with CEO Song-young, a millionaire who is a single father and has a son named Chun. He takes Chun to work as his personal secretary. Song-young asks for some papers to be photocopied, but Chun can't find the copier and returns to his father's office in tears because he's upset. On the other hand, we have Gil, a single mother working at an advertising company, who is late to pick up her daughter Mari. Mari, unfortunately, has a brain tumor and needs money for surgery. But what you don't know is that they're looking at each other when he opens the window, and their eyes meet. James is so startled that he trips and lands on his backside. Jewel claims that she scratched his car, demands her phone number, and Gil angrily gives it to him. Then they realize their children attend the same school, and while their kids treat each other sweetly, the parents silently dislike one another. At a competition, Chun says he wishes he had a mother like Jenny. Song looks at her with admiration because he, too, longs for something more. His grandfather, who wants him to find a woman, arranges a surprise blind date. Both show up at the date with their children, and there we meet Tom, a colleague of Song-young who hates Chun and would like to lock him in a basement because she wants Song-young for herself. Tom mistakes Gil for a waitress and spills a glass of champagne on her, soaking her completely. Gil hides in a room, and, to her surprise, Song-young is also there. She changes clothes, and just as she is about to take off her shirt, Song-young appears. Gil tries to cover herself, but instead, the two fall onto the bed, staring into each other's souls, longing to kiss. However, a man discovers them and leaves them alone, thinking they are up to something intimate. Song-young asks Gil if she is married or single, but then decides to discuss work instead. Meanwhile, Song-young realizes everyone is staring at them, making him nervous, and he escapes from her presence. Meanwhile, Chun and Mari search for food because they are hungry, but suddenly, a waiter trips and drops a cart carrying a cake. The cake is about to hit Chun, but Gil throws herself over him, saving him. She ensures Chun is unharmed and recalls the stories Song-young told about his mother. From that moment on, Chun believes Gil is his mother. He decides to hug her and starts calling her mom. Then her grandfather arrives, seeing them together, and Sonyu says she should marry Gil. He immediately comes up with a plan for them to return home together. While the children fall asleep, the tension between them grows. Sonyu confesses to her that he is single, which makes her happy, but suddenly a motorcycle passes by, and they both make sure their kids are okay. Then, they look at each other with a passionate desire to kiss. Yui's son places his own jacket on her, and she also gives Kain a gift, which moves her so much that the next day she goes to his house to return the jacket and also kisses him. When she arrives, Chun greets her as if she were his mother, making Mari jealous. However, Chun quickly gets along with her and takes her to his room to play. Then Tun appears, competing for Sonyu's affection, and insults Gil for going alone to a single man's house. But as soon as Gil arrives, their looks are filled with repressed love. They end up eating together, and Chun claims Gil is his mother. Tom, however, shouts that it's a lie, and Gil, as revenge, pinches him. Chun starts crying, and the dinner turns into a disaster. Later, Sonyu talks to her about work on a project that might interest her, but instead, they both just admire each other's beauty. Out of nowhere, he suggests they get married. Gil thinks he's joking, but he insists. Sonyu says that if they marry, their children will be happier because they will have both a father and a mother. But Gil replies that she doesn't even know him and angrily throws water in his face. He assures her that their only relationship is work, but Sonyu's grandfather is on the verge of dying, and his only wish is for them to marry. For his grandfather's sake, Sonyu assures him they will marry and grabs Gil's hand, pretending they are in love. This makes his grandfather emotional, but as soon as he looks away, she wipes her hand as if removing Sonyu's love bacteria, thinking he is crazy. The next day, Cher tells Mari that he is trading his father for her mother, but Mari doesn't agree. She screams angrily and causes a scene, alerting their teacher, who calls Sonyu and Gil. Holding their children, Sonyu apologizes to Chun, but Chun doesn't want to hear it. Both parents watch as their children argue and realize how much they suffer every day from not having both a father and a mother together. She tells Chun that she will be his mother and gives him a sweet hug, calming him down. Son Jewel thanks her, which makes Kain smile. Then Son Jewel invites them to dinner and shows her a large bouquet of flowers he had hidden. He gives it to her with sweet affection, but Gil starts sneezing because she is allergic to flowers, something Sonyu didn't know. Feeling nervous, Sonyu rushes her to the hospital. But when it's time for the doctor to administer the medicine, an emergency comes up. As a result, Sonyu is forced to give her the medication, as everyone assumes he is her boyfriend. Jane needs to remove her clothing, so they put a curtain between them. Sonyu extends his hand to touch her back, but becomes so nervous he freezes. Then Gil touches his hand instead. He gently takes her hand, holding it with a tenderness inspired by Cupid himself. Afterward, Sonyu continues helping her recover, and as Jane gets up, they both end up with a pimple on their faces. She applies a bit of cream on his, which makes Gil's heart race even more. Slowly, they begin to fall in love, exchanging messages every 2 seconds. But Jane is forced to substitute her friend on a blind date, wearing glasses to avoid being recognized. Despite her disguise, she is easily identified. Sun Jewel tells the man to focus on his wife, adding that they are even expecting a child, which embarrasses Gil so much that she farts out of shame. Song is annoyed with her but loves her so much that he invites her out to eat. She seizes the chance for revenge, and he takes her to a disgusting tofu restaurant. Every time she smells the food, she feels nauseated, but when Kyan says it's her favorite dish, Sonyu eats it as if he were a starving hippopotamus, just to make her happy. Meanwhile, Sonyu's company rejects Gil's advertising project, leaving her heartbroken and without money for her daughter's surgery. She confronts Sonyu, calling him a despicable person she cannot trust. Sonyu chases after her, but his bosses are waiting for him at a meeting to secure funding from other companies. To do this, he meets with an old pervert who forces him to drink to the point of nearly passing out. Sonyu then discovers that Gil is in danger. Each time the old man makes advances, Jameson drives faster in his car. The old man grabs Gil by the arm, but Sonyu arrives just in time to be her savior. Later, Gil wakes up with Maria and takes her to school, but Maria feels unwell, complaining of a headache. Suddenly, she collapses and faints, prompting Gil to rush her to the hospital, where the doctor delivers urgent news. The doctor explains that the tumor in her head is grown, and the only way to save her is through a highly risky surgery. However, the procedure costs so much that Yoel asks her parents and everyone she knows for money. It is Sonyu who steps up, offering to pay for the surgery. He comforts her with a hug, and his grandfather sees them. They tell Gian that the operation will take 6 months, and there is no guarantee her daughter will survive. The grandfather, in his fragile state, offers his own inheritance as a sacrifice to fund Mari's surgery. Gian bursts into tears of joy at the grandfather's kindness. Sonyu dedicates himself to playing with Mari, and Gian realizes he is a good father. She plans a surprise for Sonyu, who manages to help put Mari to sleep. Suddenly, Gian calls him to meet her in the hospital hallway. Both are nervous as she agrees to marry Sonyu, who promises to take care of her and her daughter. They embrace, but Gian assures him that this is a contract marriage and love cannot be a part of their relationship. They break the news to the children, who jump with joy at the idea of having 2 parents. At Sonyu's house, his grandfather shows them their room, which is decorated with glowing lights, perfect for creating a loving atmosphere. That night, Sonyu and Gian are left alone. Sonyu begins to undress, scaring Gian, who tries to flee into Mari's room. However, Mari kicks her out, forcing her to sleep with Sonyu. When Sonyu goes into the bathroom, he finds it half filled with laundry. Startled, he throws a sock at it. Eventually, they find themselves face to face, caught in a mix of passion and fear. Sonyu places his hand on Gian's waist, and while she thinks he's about to remove her towel, he simply opens the door. In that moment, he lightly brushes her lips, making her heart race as he shows her what married couples do. First, he gently holds her hands, then caresses her face tenderly. Gian becomes increasingly nervous. As he pulls her close, she feels as if her heart will explode. She tries to leave, but Sonyu catches her just as she stumbles, and they end up on the bed together, gazing at one another as if they want to steal each other's lips. Meanwhile, Sonyu's grandfather overhears them and promptly interrupts, kicking Sonyu in both knees. The grandfather mistakenly believes they are igniting passion with their bodies. The next morning, Gian wakes up imagining she and Sonyu are in love, only to realize it was all just a dream. Sonyu, however, is watching her, amused by her embarrassment as she avoids his gaze. When they present themselves to the family, they pretend to be in love to make the children happy. They even say goodbye with a kiss. Later that night, Gian confesses to herself that the entire marriage is a lie. She admits she cannot live with a man she doesn't love. She meets with Sonyu to understand his personality. Listen asks what she likes about Gian, But Sonyu says that she can always trust him, and she is the one who holds the key to his heart. This response surprises Gian, who finds Sonyu playing with Mari at his house. She doesn't believe for a moment that everything is real and that they truly love each other. So, she decides to be kinder to Sonyu and asks him questions about his past, but they are interrupted when Jewel says that the only rule in their relationship is that he doesn't know anything about her past. The two argue, and Gian expresses regret for marrying him. They part ways with great sadness. However, Chen finds out that they've both been crying, and he is also very sad. Sonyu asks why he made his mother sad and urges him to make up with her. But Sonyu isn't in the mood for Chen's plea, so Chen leaves, crying. Later, Sonyu has an important meeting and buys a beautiful dress for her, where Jane arrives. She realizes they can all use their beauty, but Gian is upset until Tom appears, and they pretend to be genuinely in love. Tom tells her that she's fired, but she confesses she is Sonyu's wife and grabs his tie, giving him a passionate kiss that drenches every inch of his lips. Tom is speechless, and when she leaves, they continue kissing until they wake up from their slumber, looking at each other without knowing what to say, their souls hanging on each other's lips. Tom knows that their marriage is a lie because it's impossible for such a poor girl to love a man as rich as Sonyu. But he admits he's jealous, and she responds that she won't rest until she figures them out. They then arrange a real wedding to make their marriage official. Both must go through a path of stones, reflecting the difficulty of marriage. The journey is complicated, and they are helped by Jewel, who carries Gian in his arms until they reach the altar. They both make vows of love and get married, but on their wedding night, Sonyu tells Gian that he doesn't love her and that he doesn't love him either. Gian listens to this, and it breaks her heart, but the surgery for Maddie is now imminent. Sonyu hugs her to give her strength and tells her that together, they can take care of everything. Then, they're told that Mari has little chance of survival, and Gian becomes so nervous that she can't sign the consent for the surgery. I appear to sign for her and give her a hug that calms her nerves. After that, Mari throws herself into his arms because she is happy that he has returned, and Sun Jewel says that the surgery will go very well and that she will smile again. Then the surgery is a success, and gradually Mari manages to adapt to her old life after Yang gets a job at a jewelry store, which has been her dream since she was little. But the customers are rude to her, and they are worried. She tells her secretary to take care of her because dangerous people might approach her, and one of them is Tian, a new client who turns out to be the man Chin found when he got lost. Tian seems to be lost because of Gian due to love, but the truth is that in the past, he was her boyfriend, but Sonyu took her away, and now he wants to get revenge on him because Jenny gained his trust. However, when he sees them together, he becomes jealous, and Sun asks him about Tian, to which he says he is just a friend, but Sonyu thinks he is lying to her because of them. He tries to make her fall in love with him again, and he goes to her bed. He yawns a bit, but Gian throws him out of the bed. Then, they meet a girl named Shiralin, who recognizes him instantly, but Sun Juno pays attention to him, and even though he points, he looks at him with love. The sun looks at the clock, waiting for the moment to meet Gian. Alan starts working with Sonyu, and they celebrate. After finishing, she grabs his arm, and Sonyu gets nervous. Then, Gil, with a lot of jealousy, says to him that she is his wife. However, little Chen thinks Alan is his mother, and he cares that they might separate the family, but Sonyu confesses that she is not Chen's mother because his real father is Sunyu's twin brother, who died in an accident a while ago. Then, yesterday, he confessed that Mary is also not his daughter but also his sister's, who passed away some time ago. They hug each other because, even though they are not their real parents, they raise their children with the love they deserve. They go to sleep giving each other much love, and their underwear flies. Then they wake up together, and Yu gives her a sweet kiss, very happy to be by her side. On the other hand, the two take the children to school and organize their lives to make everything work out. But Tian gets tired of seeing them happy and reveals that Marie and Chen are twins and tells them they are crazy. He only married her to get Mari back, and that she is the daughter of Sonyu's brother. Tian says to her that Sonyu's family is plotting against her, but Gian says it's a lie. Then, he meets with Sonyu and confesses that it is true he married her to get Mari back, but from the moment he saw her, he fell in love with her and tattooed her name on his soul. However, when Jane separates from Sonyu, he leaves home, and they stop by the sea, breaking both their hearts, as well as his. Sonyu begs him to go back to her house, but he repeatedly rejects her, even though it hurts his soul. Then, Sonyu's grandfather falls into a coma, and yesterday, he confesses that his feelings for Sonyu were always real and asks him to live because everyone in his family loves him. A tear falls from the grandfather's eyes as he hears this. All of this shows that Gian still cares for Sonyu and asks him to forgive his mistakes, wondering if there is time later. Kain thinks it's to kiss, but actually, it's to see his grandfather, who has woken up from the coma and is in perfect condition and great spirits. But suddenly, Gian feels like vomiting and discovers he is pregnant with Sunjum. Queen prefers to keep it a secret, and when he feels nauseous, he tells her. She lies, saying her stomach hurts a little. Afterward, she wants to know the reasons behind Tion's revenge, and he tells her that he loved Gian's sister and that they were childhood sweethearts. But she confessed to him that she was pregnant by another boy, who turned out to be Sonyu's twin brother. He couldn't marry her due to his family's position, so he decided to kill her and shows her an audio recording of a very violent argument between Sonyu's brother and Kain, leaving Kain in shock. His chest hurts at the mere thought that his lover's twin brother is a murderer, which burns him inside. Sun Jewel says he loves her, but Gian asks for a divorce, breaking Sonyu's heart. She chases him, and Killer reveals to her that he is her twin brother. He killed his sister, but Sonyu says it's impossible because her brother was very good and kind. She insists that the audio is fake and that the only one who knows the truth is her grandfather. He reveals that Sonyu's brother was the one she wanted to marry, but it was she who tried to blackmail him into giving her all his money and caused the accident that led to their deaths. This causes Yain to collapse, fainting and waking up in the hospital with Sonyu and her whole family, who congratulate her for discovering she's pregnant, leaving her embarrassed. Her grandfather tells her that it doesn't matter if her sister was bad, because what truly matters is that she is a good mother to the children she has. She will have Sonyu, who squeezes her hand and says that being a father to her is the greatest gift. But suddenly, Tion calls her and says he has kidnapped her two children and that they will meet their real mother. Then Gian gets scared. Chun grabs a GPS watch, and Yu manages to locate the children. He tells him that he wants to go home, but they get angry with them and yell. Then Chin stands in front of his younger sister to protect her, and Jenny appears, showing affection and threatening to throw them into the void. They get closer, which makes her realize how much her children are suffering, and they have memories of their childhood when they were bullied. She doesn't want the same for Chenny. Mari then regains her senses and lets them go to the arms of their real family. After Jenny sings for them, they live together again, but it's uncomfortable because they don't know how to confess their feelings until Gian finds himself in the same place where Sonyu asked him to marry her and poured water on him. But now Sonya's love is real, and he tells her that he wants to be with her. All of Killer's emotions are there. He grabs her cheeks, and with all the love in his heart, he kisses her, bringing joy back to her soul. Then Gian starts working again. He tells his friends that they are pregnant and spends time with Sonyu, who asks if he can sleep with her. Gian says yes, but when they start kissing, suddenly her grandfather appears. Sonyu seems to be getting a massage. Her grandfather says she cannot sleep with him because they are not truly married. So, the son prepares a surprise party for him with their children. Sonyu gives her some flowers and asks her to marry him so he can love her for life, and she agrees to be his wife. Then they share a warm hug, but Kain gets upset because he's in his pajamas. Then Jane puts on her dream wedding dress, marries Sonyu, and lives a happy family life. Sonyu hires a gardener to make the garden he loves so big because when he looks at his beloved family, he knows he will be happy for life. This kiss represents the infinite love they keep in their souls, for which they would give their lives to share every morning and night, looking at the person they love, bringing eternal happiness. Well, if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you won't miss any videos. I also leave more videos here that I'm sure you'll love.
See you next time.